Okay, great. Jai Shri Krishna. Today is the Amavasya, getting into tomorrow Navratri start. We're in the 18th chapter, tail end. It's the tail sometimes that is difficult. That it is important to get all the way through. The whole elephant is not in if the tail is still out. So, and a tail is enough to pull everything back again, and therefore we must be careful and tuck it in properly. The tail can get in trouble otherwise, the whole thing. And so we've slowed down. And even as you see, if you take a train from New Jersey to DC or wherever, as the station approaches, it significantly slows down. Whenever we sit in a train in the station, it doesn't go all the way and just stop way before it slows down, to be careful to make sure this is the right station and all of that. And so it naturally slowed down. I think we had made 53 some verses: ahankaram, balam, darpam, kamam, krodham, parigraham, vimuccha nirmamo shanta brahma bhuto digacchati. That was the verse I remember. And one of the reasons I remember is you were on Zoom. When you said parigraham, you had heard a different connotation of that whatever is given in charity is acceptable. And I clarified a little bit that parigraha still is collecting, gathering, but the word there is aparigraha. So essentially, ahankar, balam, darpam, kam, krodh. We've gone through this verse, so I'm not going to repeat it. Parigraham, vimuccha. But the important was like completely given up, completely rid of all of those. Ahankar, not the aham bhav. There is a subtle difference. Aham bhav is just the recognition that I exist. There is nothing sinful about it. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing foul about the recognition, the cognition. And the recognition is cognition or recognition, right? If you think about the word itself, that cognition has to be there for recognition. And so aham bhav is essentially that cognition that, yeah, I exist. So there is nothing, again, aham bhav is a natural, Satchidananda, the sat element of Satchidananda, pulsating, constantly pulsating that I am, right? That's a life breath. In fact, the pulses of the Satchidananda, I am, my hu, is what is filling air in our lungs, the pranavaya, the chest. If it stops saying I am, the next moment all creation will collapse. And so because that sense of existence, Satchidananda ka jo astitva matra hai, when even the Sanskrit words themselves are like fully signify astitva, like the phenomenon of beingness, if I could say it like that, beinghood or beingness. So it's the recognition of Sat is pulsating through, and it's just filling the cosmos with life force. So that's good. But ahankar, like akar, shape, form, when we limit it, that I am, but I am only this, I am this. When we just put a coordinate on it, the XYZ coordinate, but this is the one that I am. That's ahankar. Akar is form, right? The aham bhav, we've captured, like encapsulated, embodied soul. Soul is all pervasive. And now I have embodied the soul, that this much is me. So that, leaving that completely, ahankar. So not aham bhav, not the feeling that I am, but that I am only this much. I'm just this. And accordingly, then whatever I possess, balam, the strength and the valor and my possessions and all of that, darpam, the pretense and the show associated with that, that's darpa, kamam, krodham, parigraham, kamana, the desire. I am this much. Innately, internally, somehow I feel like I am more, but I feel limited, and therefore I want to continue to grow. Therefore I want more. I want more contacts. I want more recognition. I want more bigger name. I want more fame. I want more wealth. Because something is constantly pushing me, that knowledge that I am actually all, but limiting myself. We've gone over this, but this just to cover that. Like in the physical frame, we're trying to expand. है ना? समझ रहे ना? Okay. I bound myself in the physical frame, and yet I'm trying to expand exponentially. It's not going to happen. I'll die in the process. And they do. Everyone does. If I try, they will explode. If I try to expand myself, but I'm also bound within the frame, simple science and natural I will explode, and therefore it'll just gone. So, but it is when I realize who my real form is, who I really am, then there is nothing I have to do, because I realize that I'm everywhere. And so that's ahankaram, balam, darpam, kamam, krodham. And we've gone over this. When I don't get what I want, then I'm induced with krodh. And parigraham, this obsessive, compulsive desire to possess more, to have more. That's like the worst form of OCD. I might say that I have more. Vimucha is completely free from. Mucha is free from. Mukunda jo naam hai Bhagwan ka, in that mukti. Vimucha is completely free. Nowhere is that seed. They are uprooted. Nirmamo. No sense of proprietorship. No sense of ownership. No claim to anything. So all claims, all proprietorship is related to the mortal frame, to the limited. Because I'm unlimited. Shanto, and then therefore truly quiet. Brahma bhuta adhigacchati. Then in the next moment, that Atma realizes the all-pervasive nature of itself, the oneness with it all. This is what we had covered, and in the next couple of verses we will go today, cover, which is Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. What is the big deal about that? So he starts to answer. So what? Give up everything and therefore you will become Brahma. What does that mean and what do I get in its flip? So we'll go over that. Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma na shochati na kankshati samam sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim lavate param. That's when there is no grief, there is no desire, because you have fully saturated with the experience that I have all, I am all. And that's when you have come very close to me, that's when you are experiencing me, that's when you have me. And that's when I am in you and you are in me, and that's your experience. And again, I'm going to slow down and we will decode this, but I'm just giving you a primer, a broad brush of where we're going with this. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatpata. With that knowledge and with that lens, with that chashma, is when you will actually see me as I am, is what he said. When you will actually understand me as I am, will actually see me as I am. And then you will be able to know me, see me, and then enter into my being. That's that following verse. And not only will you understand how I am, that's knowing, you will be able to see me everywhere. This famous 30th verse in the 6th chapter, it said that the one who sees me everywhere, and to him or her, I am never lost and they are never lost to me. You will be able to see me, says that. Drashtam, which is like literally able to see, understand it. And then you will realize that you are in me. You are not only able to see me everywhere, but pravishnati. That those are the words that he uses. That you as if entered into my being. You become one with me, just like Madhvi and Malaka at the river that we saw, entering the ocean. Last time we brought that up. After that, after a little while, there was no river. It had become the ocean. And yet the river was incessantly, unstoppably flowing into it. And that yet 3 feet forward, it had become the ocean. Pravishanti, it become that. And suddenly, the little river, this room size, expanded into the Pacific Ocean. All that was the oceans became the rivers, and the rivers became the... So those are the kind of verses, and we'll go through that. The thing about this, as I was explaining, the train really slows down as the station approaches. To be honest, in truth, this stuff is hard to explain. because anybody really can do like to the literal translation. Shabdasha uska bhasha andar kar sakte hain na. What does this mean? What does this mean? How does this mean? The real, the real bloom, the real blossom comes within when you will make this own. And that's why we meditated a little bit to calm down. I would encourage you to make this your own. Like think more, apni drishti se, like with your own perspective, with your own angle. What might it mean to you to see whichever is your form of God? What might it mean to you to know as she or he is fully? What will that do? What would it feel like? What it would mean if you actually joined, if you became one, which would essentially first thing it would mean. First thing common to all, that there will no longer be me. There was no river after that. There was only the ocean. No. And so that hence the word, the preface, vimuccha, fully gone, completely erased out of it. Am I prepared for that? Will I be? But then what do I get? What happens with that river? That fully erased river has fully evolved into the ocean. So I would have to leave this little, and I will get that big one. So I think the best meaning of these words will come within inside you. That's why during Dhyan I was drawing attention that eventually we want to dial down the outer noise. All noise from outside is noise. All sound from the outside is noise. No matter how glorious, no matter how many bhajans or arti or kirtan, no matter how many chants, all that, still if it is still not the inner voice. And I'd push you on that to think about it, because there's fear associated with these. Oh no, like I'm chanting God's name, they're loudly chanting God's name. It's still not inner voice. I'd encourage you to hear the inner voice. There is no substitute for that. All sights from the outside, no matter how beautiful the murti is, the Vrindavan, the glory, all of that, it still is incomparable. There is no word to compare to the inner vision. When intuitively you have the inner vision, there is no word to even compare the two, between what we see inside, the God's experience, and how we see after seeing even the most revered murti. So therefore, it's good if it's taking us toward that, it's good. But that's not the North Star. The destination is not that I just want to live there and every day, 3 times a day, 10 times a day, just do that, keep doing that. Because that's great, but that's all I will keep doing. I want to stop doing, and I want to have it every moment without doing anything, without the need to do anything, to have that full and complete experience, which is the right, which is the purpose, which is the promise, in fact, of the Gita in it. So surely revering and honoring all external sounds that help us go towards that, but never losing this thought that, but as long as it's helping me go inside, then alone it is valuable. If it is making me stuck outside, then I have to think of something else. And it is important to quiet down. So that's part of the theme. I think we should focus on. The one other, I think, appropriate topic for today, I thought, is because tomorrow is Navratri. It's a very rarely unpacked view that how does the Gita connect with Navratri. There is no direct or specific mention of any of our festivals. Like there is no mention of any festival, right, in the Gita, and yet subtly there are of celebrations and festivals, and very specifically about what is the significance of Navratri. Why 9? What about Ashtami? We celebrate on the 8th day, the Durga ki puja karte na. What about that? What is Dashahara? Like the 10th day. What's all of that? So that's very cleverly tucked inside. It's in the 7th chapter, so I would like to unpack that a little bit, because that has the power to set the stage for us as Navratri starts tomorrow. I have benefited from it greatly, and therefore I want to share that with you as well. Some others have reported who've heard it years ago when I had one other different family had done the Gita about this, that it allowed them to like actually celebrate Navratri and not do the same thing that we do every year, like make it internal evolution. So let me pause there for a moment and just first of all, just the first part that we talked about, whether in meditation, this inner voice versus the outer noise, or like depending on where the sound is coming from, or what is this, where are we in this chapter. I also want to remind you, by the way, that and I'll stop after that to take your reactions, that remember, we don't want to forget, we're not doing a Gita just for the sake of studying the Gita. We're not doing this just because otherwise I'll do something else. I might as well do this. We're not substituting something else with this. No. Like this makes me feel better, so I do this. That makes them feel better, therefore I do. That's not the purpose. The purpose of why we study the Gita is only finally to achieve the only purpose of human life. There is only one purpose of human life. There's only one reason why we have, and it's a common purpose. It isn't my purpose in life isn't different from your purpose. Those are outer purposes that we think, I want to serve this and I want to do that, this, that. This is the external. That's still ash. That's still noise. No matter how glorious, feeding hungry kids, no matter how, it has very limited purpose. Might as well be no purpose. The real purpose why we are here at the top of the chain of creation. Any one of us is superior to the brightest star that ever shone in any galaxy. And these are not just words. I'm trying to remind you of it. A star does not think by itself, does not have the power it's programmed that this much helium is filled in here, it'll keep burning until this point, no matter how many billion years. And as you're burning, you'll glow, and one day you'll die. That's what happens, billions of stars. They don't have the power to choose. They haven't chosen to burn or to give the light, or I want to be in this galaxy, or I want to have this many suns and planets around me. Nothing. It's as good as a rock that's in your backyard. And so the biggest, the most luminous star is infinitely inferior to any insignificant, to any one of us in the human form. There is no comparison. It's just mind-blowing. The mind and the brain cannot comprehend the significance of who we are and what is. And so it would be the pitiest shame to limit ourselves to achieving anything other than that. Which is why this incarnation cycle continues. Which is why it's in the Vedas it's in neti, neti, neti. It isn't just not this, not this, not this. Well, I came and I achieved this. Well, yeah, but that wasn't it. Then I came again and then I did that. Was that it? No, that wasn't it. Na iti, right? Okay, all right, I'm going to try something else. Well, look at how big I became and what I did for how many people. Was this it? No, not this. And keep going. No matter how big, how grand, if it is outer, that's not it. Because the purpose will never feel. It has to feel right inside, therefore. So that opportunity is here. The Gita creates a wormhole. You're familiar with the concept of wormhole? We're starting with it. It's a gravitational concept that suppose, and it's a phenomenal concept. If there was an apple, suppose here was a ball. Just say earth ki gravity hai na? So gravity pulls inside, right? When I throw something up, it falls down because there is the gravity of this planet that is pulling in. And it pulls at the center of the planet. Yeah. So Australia is the other way around. When they throw something, it still pulls here, even though ulta hai. If I throw something here, it comes there. Because radially, in the direction of the radius, everything is pulled by gravity towards the center. And so if I have to go from here to Australia, let's say, which is right below it, I'd have to travel a lot because I am only sticking to the surface. No, surface it will take me days, years, whatever, depending on which mode of transportation. But if I could create a hole where I'm standing, it's going to attract me to this. And so it creates a very shortcut path to start. It's another matter that those who know physics might say, well, you're going to be stuck at the center. you're not going to Australia because the moment you start going away from the center, it's going to pull you back. But in this case, I'll then say, well, it is the center that I want to go to, not Australia anyway. But you get the point. That's the idea of the wormhole, that it cuts the shortest path. And it isn't just the shortest. This is planetary science. It isn't just the shortest, it's also the most effortless. Because the gravity itself pulls you. I don't have to do anything. I just have to let go, literally. In the wormhole, if you carefully look at study the Star Trek episodes, all you have to do is you do have to let go of yourself and let gravity pull you in that direction. And it's the shortest path, and it is the most spontaneous path, and is the most effortless path to get to that center. And so it is with the Gita when we align with that. So here, we haven't been doing this for 10 years to apna ahar shuddhi ho jaye, like we feel better, or company changes. Those are ancillary side benefits. If they come with us, that's fine. If they don't, the North Star, the destination, is the realization of our being, our identity, and our purpose. And so the way the Gita makes it easy is the 18 chapters are divided into 6, 6, and 6. This is my personal processing of it. This is the way I have studied the Gita, and this is the way I have benefited from the Gita. And we've covered this a few times. But the first 6 chapters, which is the first third, talk about our identity, real identity, Atma ke bare mein hai. And then the second, so starting from the 7th chapter, the next set of 6 chapters, God talks about God himself. Right in the first verse of the 7th chapter, he just finally opens his mouth and then starts talking. And once he opens his mouth to talk about himself, it's a fire hose. He's not able to stop. Unstoppably, I am it. There's nothing beyond me. Everything is strung around my like beads in a necklace. Okay. So, and then, well, if you're read, then what's the problem? Why don't I see you? Why don't I experience you? I know who I am. I know who you are. Where's the problem? The problem is so-called Maya. There is something in between. Just there's a beautiful doha in Tulsi Ramayana. Ram Lakhan vich siya sobhahi aisi jiva brahma vich maya jaisi. There was Ram walking through Vanvas in exile, and then there is Sita walking behind him, right following in his footsteps, wherever Ram went. And then there's Lakshman behind them. And Lakshman's not stepping in their footprints. He's like either walking to the right or to the left. And the feeling in his mind is like, the moment he stepped there and she stepped there, this became sacred and holy for me. This soil, this dirt is more worthy than my whole being. How can I step on it? So therefore I'm not going to step on it. And that Lakshman later on says to Ram that, is it true that you're God? Like everybody where we go, like the biggest Rishi Munis like fall flat at your feet and you step like, no, I'm only Dashrath's son, I'm not God. But everybody says you're God. Lakshman is like, are you God? Really, brother? Big brother? He पूछते बड़े भैया भगवान सच में? तो he is not for a moment away from God. And he's like, are you really God? So Tulsi Das, explains that Ram Lakhan vich siya, vich, like in between, siya sobhahi aisi, that she's like shining, Jeev Brahma vich Maya jaisi. There is this one wheel of Maya. It's like always with him, but not recognizing that God, and ask him. And Ram smiles at him, like, Ram, he's still, like you're fathered by the same father. I'm the father of Dashrath. Okay. Dismisses that, smiling. But then there is a samvad. It's called Ram Gita. Then there is a Q&A between Ram and Lakshman that happens. It's a short book. We've read it. We have a couple of copies extra in English at home. If anyone is interested, I can bring it. So it's like that. So if I understand who I am and if I understand who God is, then why do I not experience it? There's this Maya, and those are the 13th chapter through 18th chapter. And so we've gone through all of this spectrum, and now the train has approached the station. It's slowed down, like wrapping everything out. We've got to pick up our luggage, fall in line. We're going to step out, and once we step out, presumably the purpose has been achieved, where we've identified the oneness with the God, where we recognize that God is everything and everything is God, where we have experienced that there is no me. I do not exist. God alone does. And therefore there is nothing to fear. There is nothing to collect. There is nothing to hoard. There is nothing to be angry about. There is nothing to be fearful about. There is no reason to make anyone else fearful. There is no reason for me to worry about what about tomorrow. What about tomorrow? Right? In a dream, I don't worry about, like after I wake up from the dream, I don't worry about tomorrow's dream or anything. Like I've left that behind. So it's that waking up. So keep that in mind, that's the purpose. That's why we're studying the Gita, to understand our real identity and our oneness with God, not just to feel good. Because if this is to feel good, then this is a very inefficient way to feel good. There are very easy ways, quick ways to feel good, 1,000 of those from the outside. The trouble is they don't stick. Like I was quoting Shankaracharya during Dhyan, Anityani sharirani, the first problem, dead on arrival, he says. Whatever outside joy is dead on arrival. Why? The first word is anitya. This is not going to last. Then what's the point? Including this body. Vaibhav, all this opulence, the affluence, naiva shashrata. That also degrades and fades. Nitya sannihito mrityu. Mrityu isn't this ultimate death. Mrityu is something that is always, every moment with us. Shankaracharya's best childhood friend, the one who never left him, was always with him like shadow until he left and took his sannyas. His name was Mrityu, believe it or not. Seriously. I mean, look at the wisdom of the parents, like, or the courage of the parents, I guess. The courage to name your child Mrityu. I mean, maybe they named him after Yamadevata or like the Yamadanda or whatever. I don't know any of that, but he says Nitya Sannihito Mrityu, always with me. So Mrityu is not the final state. Mrityu is not when the flat line and they said, okay, this is over. Mrityu is what is happening now. Mrityu just happened for me the moment before and the moment before and the moment before, or before I came here. From the time that I was born, it's nothing other than Mrityu that is happening. And hence it's a celebration of life. When I recognize that, when I realize that, what is remaining I'm able to celebrate and cherish and value preciously. What is it that I have? Do I value it? That recognition comes when I realize that, well, whatever I have, it's fading, it's going. Therefore, let me make the most of it. So for this, there is no finality to Mrityu. It's forever, it's ever present. इसलिए शंकराचार्य कहते हैं, श्राद्ध है ना, पत्र अमावस्या है, it's quite relevant to it. नित्य सन्निहित मृत्यु कर्तव्य धर्म संग्रह. Therefore, with what you've got left, the only duty is to do dharma sangraha. Gather up and make sure that you achieve your dharma. And your dharma is not the pati dharma or the pita dharma or the patni dharma or the mata dharma or the putra dharma. It's good that you went to California and spent time and did your role and all of that. It's honorable. But don't be bamboozled by that. Just that alone, it'll give you some punya. It'll put you in a better situation, maybe perhaps next life. That's not it though. Dharma is, as I was suggesting, like your original dharma. The Satchidananda Swarup, that like waking up is the dharma of someone who is sleeping and dreaming, no matter how sweet or bad. Dharma is the only duty of a sleeping person lost in a dream, no matter how glorious. Achieved everything in the dream. The only dharma is to wake up and realize that this is a dream. I want you to think about that. No matter how continuously improving dream, the best of the best dream, but that's not the dharma, is to wake up and realize your own original nature, after which there is no dharma left. And then you receive the instruction from within, like so then now what am I to do for the rest of my life? No. The next moment you'll receive what is it that you need to do. So just want to exert that again and again, remind you that don't shortchange. Now we don't want to sell ourselves so cheap that I sold myself for this, the biggest house I can imagine, the biggest salary I can imagine, the biggest title I can imagine. That is the cheapest sale. That is the worst trade. The only fitting trade is when I realize, when I wake up in my own original form. And the big glory is that it is possible. It is possible in this. It is only possible in the human form. Manushyatvam. Just because human form does not make it possible, the mumukshatvam, it is only possible in the human form who desires it, wants it. And then the third is manushyatva bhiya mumukshatva bhiya mahapurushasya sangam, like satsasada sangam, that we association of like-minded people, those who are walking on that path. It is possible, and that's nothing short of that would be fitting for you as the soul that it is. I'm going to stop here, and then we'll pick up from the actual Gita